A cheerful little boy unboxes toys while laughter fills the room. Millions of children watch him every single day, their eyes glued to the screen, their smiles mirroring his. But if you look closer, something feels off. That smile, too perfect. The lighting, too polished. The laughter, just a little too loud. For years, Ryan's world was seen as harmless fun. A child living every kid's dream, surrounded by toys, fame, and endless joy. But behind that perfect image, there were whispers, rumors of manipulation, accusations of greed, secrets hidden in plain sight. Parents began to ask questions no one wanted to answer. Who was really in control of this channel? Who was truly benefiting from Ryan's endless work? And how far would his family go to keep the money flowing? This is the story of how one child's joy became a billion-dollar empire, and the darkness that hid beneath the glittering surface. 1. The growing controversy. At first, everyone loved it. Ryan was cute, innocent, and full of energy. His channel felt like a safe space for kids, a world of play and wonder. But as the years passed, something changed. Parents began to notice that Ryan's videos weren't just about fun anymore. They were filled with logos, brand deals, and endless product promotions. Comments started pouring in. "It's nothing but a commercial," one mother wrote. "They are brainwashing children," said another. One father even called it a digital trap built for toddlers. Videos that once seemed innocent were now being accused of manipulation. Every toy, every product, every smile, all carefully placed to sell something. Some parents said their children couldn't stop watching. Others said their kids were begging for everything Ryan touched. The line between entertainment and advertising had been erased. What was once playtime had turned into profit, and the small boy at the center of it all had become a marketing goldmine. Whether he realized it or not, the numbers didn't just grow. They exploded. In 2020, Forbes announced that Ryan's world earned $29.5 million in a single year. He was 9 years old, a child earning more than global superstars, more than professional athletes, more than the adults who watched him. News outlets couldn't believe it. A kid who wasn't even old enough to work at McDonald's had become one of the highest-paid YouTubers in the world. Every video brought in more sponsors, more merchandise, more partnerships. Toys filled entire store aisles. His face was on lunchboxes, t-shirts, toothbrushes, even breakfast cereal. But behind the applause was a darker question. Who controlled the money? How much of that fortune actually belonged to Ryan? As the cameras kept rolling, the brand kept growing, and the boy behind the screen became a global business. A billion-dollar child. And with that kind of power came shadows no one wanted to see. Beneath the laughter and colors, there were cracks forming. Reports surfaced accusing the family of not disclosing paid sponsorships. Almost 90% of their videos contained hidden ads, but viewers couldn't tell which ones were real and which were paid. Children believed everything they saw. Parents didn't. The Federal Trade Commission received complaints claiming that Ryan's world was blurring ethical lines, turning preschoolers into customers without their understanding. But that wasn't all. Behind the bright thumbnails, whispers began spreading about the parents themselves. That they were overworking Ryan. That they were turning his childhood into a business. That they had a past they wanted to bury. And soon enough, those whispers led straight to a story no one expected. A criminal record belonging to Ryan's own mother. It all began in Houston, Texas, in 2002. An 18-year-old girl named Kaji was caught stealing clothes from a department store. 6 items, $93. The IT wasn't about hunger or survival. It was greed. She was arrested, fined, and ordered to complete community service, but she didn't. She ignored the court's orders, skipped her obligations, and was arrested again. This time, she went to jail for 2 months. The court called it willful noncompliance. To many, it showed something deeper, a willingness to bend the rules to get what she wanted. Years later, when the world discovered this past, it sparked a new conversation. Was the same disregard for rules now being applied in Ryan's world? Was the pursuit of wealth more important than ethics, or even her own child's well-being? The past, once hidden, was now part of the story the world couldn't ignore. Fast forward to 2015. Ryan, only 3 years old, turns to his mother and asks an innocent question. Why am I not on YouTube like the other kids? That one sentence changed everything. His parents saw an opportunity, and they took it. They created Ryan's Toy Review, a channel built around a single idea: a child playing with toys. The formula was simple but powerful. Ryan opened boxes. He smiled. He played. And millions watched. Then came the video that changed everything: Giant Lightning McQueen Egg Surprise. It exploded with 20 million views in 1 month. Overnight, Ryan became a household name. His parents saw the numbers and realized the potential. From that moment, the uploads never stopped. Every day, new toys, new videos, more money. But as the lights got brighter, the innocence began to fade. What once felt like family fun now looked like a production line. And somewhere between the fame and the fortune, Ryan stopped being just a kid. At first, no one questioned it. A little boy unboxing toys on camera, what harm could there be? But as the views soared and the money poured in, people started asking the hard questions. Was this really playtime, or was it labor disguised as fun? Behind every cheerful thumbnail, Ryan was performing. Behind every laugh, there were studio lights, scripts, and cameras. And while his peers were outside riding bikes or playing soccer, Ryan was filming over and over again. Experts started to weigh in. Child psychologists said exposure at such a young age could affect his sense of identity. Legal analysts questioned whether this counted as child labor. And parents online began debating whether the Kajis had crossed a line. That Ryan's parents claimed everything was voluntary, that he loved making videos. But people wondered how a child that young could truly give consent to $1 billion business. Was it really his dream or theirs? As the empire grew, so did the feeling that the fun was long gone, replaced by pressure, deadlines, and the never-ending demand for content. In interviews, Ryan's parents always smiled. They said he only filmed when he wanted to. They said he was still a normal kid, but fans noticed something strange. Even as Ryan grew older, his channel stayed frozen in time. The toys never changed. The themes never matured. Ryan was now a preteen pretending to be the same playful 5-year-old, smiling on cue, opening boxes filled with toys he'd probably never play with again. Some viewers began calling it digital puppetry. They claimed the parents were keeping Ryan stuck in the image that made them rich, afraid that letting him grow up would break the illusion. And maybe they were right. Because behind the scenes, this wasn't just a YouTube channel anymore. It was a corporation with contracts, sponsors, and deadlines that didn't care how Ryan felt. Every week, new uploads had to meet quotas. Every holiday, new toys had to be reviewed. And every smile, no matter how tired, had to be perfect. As one critic put it, Ryan's not playing with toys anymore. He's selling childhood itself. By the time Ryan turned 10, the brand had grown beyond imagination. There were toys, video games, TV shows, theme park deals, even clothing lines. His face was everywhere, from cereal boxes to streaming platforms. But with that much money at stake, who really benefited? Online debates exploded. Some believed Ryan was earning a fair share, that his parents had set up savings and trusts. Others said he was being used, that he was the face of a business he didn't control. People began comparing it to the lives of other child stars. They made millions, only to discover years later that their parents had taken it all. The Kajis insisted that Ryan's future was secure, that he was learning about business, that everything was done with love. But critics weren't convinced. Because love doesn't come with a production schedule, and childhood doesn't have a profit margin. As the empire expanded, the family's smiles looked wider than ever, but something beneath them felt empty. Then came the backlash. A formal complaint was filed to the Federal Trade Commission accusing Ryan's world of misleading its audience. It turned out that almost 90% of the channel's videos contained sponsored products. But those sponsorships weren't clearly disclosed. That meant millions of children were watching paid advertisements without realizing it. The videos felt genuine, but behind the scenes, every fun review was a commercial. Parents were furious. They felt betrayed. They thought their kids were watching a happy child, not a walking billboard. The Kajis responded with statements about following all laws and guidelines. But the damage was already done. The innocence of Ryan's world had cracked wide open. What was once a symbol of childhood fun had become a case study in corporate ethics. A brand built on joy was now accused of manipulation. And for the first time, people began to wonder, had the family crossed a line they couldn't come back from? Today, Ryan is a teenager. The toys don't excite him the way they used to. The smile looks more rehearsed. And the once colorful world he built is starting to fade. His audience, the kids who once adored him, are growing up too. They've moved on to new interests, leaving behind the world they once obsessed over. To fill the gap, his parents began re-uploading old videos, hoping to recapture the magic. But nostalgia can't stop time. Ryan's world was built on the image of a child's happiness, but that image cannot stay frozen forever, because every child grows up, and when they do, the illusion breaks. The question now isn't whether Ryan's world can survive. It's whether Ryan himself can escape from it. Behind the money, the fame, and the empire lies a boy who never got to just be a boy. And as the cameras fade, one truth remains. No amount of wealth can buy back the years lost to the spotlight. In the end, the rise and fall of Ryan's world is more than just a YouTube story. It's a warning, a reminder that even the brightest smiles can hide the darkest realities. And that sometimes the biggest price of success is innocence itself.